Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to our lecturer Nazri Wahid, and my name is Nazarina Esambas. Me and my group members Dalcia, Rosemary and Norbaizra will presenting our assignment for Public Financial Administration Pet 370, which is Journal Article Review. Okay, in this assignment we will review 10 articles, and as for me I will review 2 articles, and for the introduction I will tell you what is a journal article review. Okay, as we know, an article review is an article on a topic that is summarized with important contents. It is based on surveys and summarized of articles that have been published before, including analyzing new reports. So, a review article is also known as a survey article. The main objective of the article review is to provide an evaluation of the data obtained from the study. By making an article review, we will be able to identify areas of research and be able to draw new conclusions with existing data. Okay, in this assignment, we will review and summarize 10 article from various journals on subject of procurement, and then we analyze the effectiveness of the procurement that conform to the procedures, processes, and the principles of public procurement as reflect to 1PP. The analysis included the procedures used, problem faced, and action taken in order to solve the problems, or any matters written by the articles discussed on procurement activities and its subjects to Malaysia practice. Okay, for article 1, I will review an article based on the article Government Purchasing, a review of e-procurement system in Malaysia, which is e-perolehan, and was from the authors Maniam Kalianan, Halimah Awang, and Murali Rahman. Okay, for information, the Malaysian government strives to improve the delivery of government service in line with the advancement of information and communication technology (ICT) and the internet to be more systematic. So they try to develop countries with using ICT to improve the quality of public service, increase access to information to the public, and also provide more participation in civic affairs. This case study examines the overall implementation of e-government initiative in Malaysia, with particular emphasis on electronic procurement project, also known as e-procurement. The general consensus among the buyer and seller community is that procurement will be a catalyst towards a new and innovative supply chain management process in the public sector in Malaysia. The advance of the internet, digital connectivity, and the adoption of e-commerce and e-business model in the private sector are pressuring the public sector to rethink their heretical and bureaucratic organizational model. So they think it really have to improve their system. In the e-procurement model, there are 3 different communities, namely the supplier community, the buyer community, and the procurement service provider, which act as a core participant of the e-procurement initiative as the pictures. Okay, the next picture shows the complete supplier e-procurement activation process. All government suppliers are required to register with the MOF if they wish to do business with federal government agency and department. Okay, for the research method, the study for this article review is using data collection method, and a total of 3,000 questionnaires were sent in October 2006 by mail to randomly selected supplier. Factor analysis was performed for the purpose of validity and reliability of the questionnaire content. Okay, for the problem and issue, based on the result of the study, there are also a problem and issue that exists in the Malaysian e-procurement initiative that prevent the government and service provider from maximizing the potential value of the e-procurement itself. Among the issue is the cost. Okay, the supplier must bear before activation. There is a cost to pendaftaran and also purchasing the smart card for the transaction. And the second one is infrastructure and skill. And some supplier are inexperienced with the use of the latest information system. It means lack of the exercise. So, and the third one is business focus, change management. The majority of supplier are not interested in doing business with the federal government. So maybe the federal government got giving the procurement requirement. That means supplier prefer to do business with local and state government because they can use traditional method. Traditional method is just a manual, not by system. And the fourth one is system constraints. The feedback received from the survey also indicates that the system in its current incarnation is not strong in some respect. For example, a supplier registered with the system can only upload 10 product information, and if you make the extra additional what you call this product, you have to pay additional payment. Okay, and the five reason is the 5 issue is government policy. Although the federal government of Malaysia encourage supplier to use e-procurement, the government can decide whether it's willing to transact with non-e-procurement companies as long as the company is registered with the MOF. Okay, for the second article, I'll choose level of certification and issue with procurement system used in the Malaysian public sector. This is a article review based on the article level of certification and issue with procurement system used in the Malaysia public sector from the author Mastura Jafar and Nur Hidayah Muhammad Razli from University Science Malaysia. Undoubtedly, the public sector has contributed a lot of development of the country. Public sector organized exists for the primary benefit of public citizen. The procurement system consists of two types, namely traditional and alternative. Traditional procurement system are categorized as lump sum firm bill of quantities, lump sum approximate bill of quantities, and lump sum drawing and specification. Public customers are obliged to spend public money properly by following a series of procedures, given the large number of projects required to support the country growth in the mid-1990s. Significant changes to the dominant procurement system were implemented in the Malaysia construction industry. Since then, Malaysia has adopted a new public sector procurement system to cope with high demand and achieve project completion percentage faster. Okay, for the research method, the study of this article uses industry survey to conduct research. And the survey was conducted among various stakeholders in Malaysian construction industry. In addition, this study also uses the method of questionnaire development, which part of the study is about the procurement system applied in the Malaysian construction industry. Okay, about a problem and an issue. Based on the 5 level of procurement system, this study finds that there are related problems and issues from the perspective of the public sector. Okay, the main problem of both traditional and alternative procurement system are dispute, affordability, time, and cost. Okay, however, the study acknowledged the lack of attention given the public project during the brief stage. Also included is the lack of preparation for the design and quantity bills before the selection of a proven contractor. So, others issue is inadequate and ineffective communication between parties can lead to a lack information flow. The quality problem is also one of the minor problems encountered in all types of procurement. Although the issue of public sector building quality was highlighted, the result of the study shows that industry practitioners were less concerned with quality compared to the other two performance measures, namely time and cost. Okay, for the conclusion, this research article does not specifically state that the ways to overcome the issue and problem that arise. In this study, the dominant procurement system can be identified, the related problem, and the level of certification of the public procurement system in the Malaysian constructor industry. In a different perspective, this article highlights the importance of human factor in managing the procurement process. So, procurement transformation will question the transformation of the mindset and work culture of industry participant. Okay, that's all for the article 2, and thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Dalsia. Today I will present to you about the public procurement in Malaysia. I will choose 3 articles from the public procurement in Malaysia. The first one is effectiveness of e-procurement in Malaysia. Research method that I will use is the framework research. It provides the hypothesis developed in the study. Thereafter, the design of the research instrument, scale and measurement, and data collection procedure will be discussed. Finally, the data analysis technique used are also present and collected in computer. The problem that we're facing is the total cost of ownership may be excessive. It's possible that it will hack. Getting vendor to collaborate online may be challenging. External and internal integrating may be challenging to achieve. Technology is subject to change on regular basis. The solution that we will do is high-tech components of procurement system that include 4 aspects: electronic assessment, electronic sourcing, electronic design, and electronic negotiation. The articles 2 that I will choose is procurement issue in Malaysia. Research method that I will use is interview. Is that from contractor and government procurement official. The purpose of this interview to get first-hand information on the contractor and procurement official perception of the government procurement system. The problem that we're facing is about accountability, transparency, corruption, integrity, and corruption in the exist in Malaysia. The solution that we will use is rules and process should be developed to prevent any potential corruption to happen and to improve the openness, accountability, and integrity of the process. At the conclusion of the fiscal year, urgent purchases are met. Natural catastrophe and other similar occurrences need emergency solution. Government officials have insufficient access to some information. Bidding paper that aren't standardized, preference are given to certain bidder, participation of government and on business, front or shell business are allowed to participate. This is the ways to overcome the problem in procurement issue in Malaysia. The Article 3 is initial policy reaction to the pandemic COVID-19 problem in public procurement and instructional governments. This is very famous issue right now during the pandemic. The research method that we use is open government data in around world was widely released and reused by the government. Many countries are engaged in supporting open government data (OGD) during the early stage of the COVID-19 epidemic, both in terms of releasing data and use is create various kind of data and product as our reference. The problem that we use is lack of stockpile and increase the world competition to social commodity because of lockdown. The solution that we use is the government policy paper that will detail investment policy and plan for addressing the crisis for the first stage, second stage, and third stage for the economy in the recovery phase. Public procurement infrastructure investment will be critical. For example, like right now, our country Malaysia do the pemulihan from the stage 1 until stage 4. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Siti Novaizura. I will present the article that I choose. There are three articles based on the public procurement. The first, okay, you can go see. The first article that I choose is the review based on the Journal Preventing Corruption in Public Procurement from OECD. The second article, this is review based on the journal, the Malaysian Public Procurement Prevalent System and its weakness. And the third article is this review for Public Accountability System, empirical assessment of public sector of Malaysia. So these three articles, they have the same function and the same problem. They use the same method research too. The method research that is journal using is one is data sampling, is true report from current time across the country, and the second is variable by various type of corruption, aid and purpose of the bribe, and the third one is data analyze using charge bar to view statistic and reports on corruption across the country. So the problem this three article is try to say is that firstly is lack of capital, means the effect of shortcoming has led cooperation societies unable to produce reasonable returns to members, even though some cooperative do have excess fund. Second, absence of good corporate governance and weak structure. Both members fail in carrying out their duties according to the best governance practice. The appointment should be based on member experiences and trustworthy rather than their popularity. For the third one, a lack of managerial talent. The members of their elected representatives are not experienced enough to manage the organization because of limited capital. They are not able to get a professional management. So the fourth one is lack of integrity among the management. It is because of the cooperative movement has had a long scandalous history of mismanagement, criminal breach of trust, and fraud. So, for the solution that they make, to conquer the present circumstances is essentially changing the design of administrations isn't enough. The general public area should be changed into turning into a solid and effective area by guaranteeing a legitimate responsibility and its appropriate appraisal framework. The discoveries of investigation will help diverse government organizations and divisions to improve their responsibility depend on the applicable assistant conspire. Simultaneously, there's responsibility, estimation, components, and procedures utilized in this investigation may help the government in fostering the responsibility estimation method for the public area. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rosemary. Thanks to our lecturer for PAD 370, Public Financial Administration, Mr. Narzi Wahid, for giving this opportunity to us by presenting our group assignment for this subject. I will representing my part which covered the Article 9 and 10. Through this Bob article, Malaysians are continued to give preference to locally held enterprise in government pressure and need to guarantee that public procurement objectives are given equal priority to be improving. As we can know it, public procurement has an important key function in service delivery and the performance of government departments. Their method research engineering are referred to those processes, procedure, and entities involved in the process of goods and service by private and public entities. Based on the above article, their common problems are corruption, lack of accountability and transparency, lack of professional procurement expertise, and widespread corruption, and also public procurement mismanagement. Moreover, to solve and managing the weakness of the public procurement in Malaysia, Government Green Procurement now has GGP, the Informants of Whistleblower Protection Act 2010, e-procurement or e-perolehan are implementation by the government to help it in dealing and managing with the problematic or issue in improving the national economic growth and social development nowadays.